what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting. But anywho, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he needed to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Jake Paul looked really good. I think he won all the rounds. I mean, it's good for boxing. I think he deserves a chance to fight for a world title.
Jake Paul did get fatigued down the stretch, but he still...
Jake Paul's victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. sparked mixed reactions across the boxing world. Ryan Garcia tweeted, "Jake did his thing, outboxed Chavez Jr." Boxing legend Shane Mosley praised Jake's performance, noting his movement and execution, but also criticized Chavez Jr., calling his behavior weird and suggesting it might be time for him to retire. Many fans and analysts shared similar sentiments, impressed by Jake's growth, yet disappointed in Julio's lackluster effort and uncertain future in the sport.
Jake Paul fought a good fight. You know, he moved around the way he's supposed to, throwing great punches, and for the experience he had, he did fantastic. Junior, on the other hand, he didn't throw any punches until the third or fourth round or something. He was just kind of walking forward, and I don't know what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting, but anywho, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he needed to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Where do you think Junior goes from here, in your opinion, Shane?
Junior needs to retire from here.
Junior needs to retire.
He needs to retire. I mean, if you can't throw any punches in 2, 3, 4 rounds, you need to retire. I mean, if you can't, what are you doing? What are we doing? You just living off your father's name. That's basically what you do, because you didn't even fight until the last round, maybe last two rounds, and threw some punches, and you had some success when you threw some punches.
Piers Morgan wasn't impressed, saying, "I had a better fight with Jake Paul on Thursday than the unwatchable farce that took place tonight." He accused Jake of staging boring bouts with over-the-hill opponents for money, claiming it's hurting boxing. However, rising prospect Rayo Valenzuela had a different take. He commended Jake for looking sharp and going the distance, even going so far as to say Jake deserves a spot among the top 15 to 20 fighters in his division, a significant endorsement from someone within the sport.
Fight. Oh, great fight. Julio's back after all he's been through, so, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, especially through, what life throws at you sometimes, but, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He's doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him.
Do you think he's ready to fight maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure, yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here, in your opinion?
It's up to him. He can retire if he wants, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something.
Yeah.
Jose Benavidez Sr., father and trainer of David Benavidez, echoed the growing support for Jake. After watching Jake defeat Chavez Jr., he admitted Jake looked impressive and even floated the idea of a future matchup with his son. Benavidez Sr. said Jake deserves a title shot, a bold statement that reflects a shift in how boxing insiders are beginning to see Jake as more than just a spectacle.
I think Jake Paul looked really good. I think he won all the rounds. I mean, it's good for boxing. I think he deserves a chance to fight for a world title. He proved it today with the ex-world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez, that, he dominated and he did really good.
What did you think of Chavez's performance? Early on, he didn't throw a lot, and then towards the end, he had some moments. Were you disappointed in Chavez?
Well, I thought, he was going to try to get Jake Paul a little tired. He was blocking and taking all his shots, but I think he just got tired, and couldn't execute it. So Jake Paul did a great job.
Respected boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult weighed in, emphasizing Jake's rapid technical improvement. He pointed out that Jake now exhibits timing, discipline, and ring IQ that people often overlook because of his YouTube origins. According to Showbiz, Jake's progress has reached a point where it's no longer just hype, it's real skill.
I looked at Jake, I was saying, thank you, Jake. Yep, I was saying, thank you, Jake. A lot. The thing is, not to say that because he beat a 6-year-old Mike Tyson that, that impressed me with. What I'm saying is, you couldn't really see everything that Jake possessed in that fight. He has gotten way better. I saw him training, and I'm like, the guy is good. He messed around and got good. You don't like Zurdo fight? Zurdo looked. I mean, that was one of the best I've seen, but the best times I've seen him. No, Zurdo won this clear to me. Don't forget that was a point deduction. $115, $113. I mean, $113, $112. $117, $110. Yeah, it was clearly Zurdo. Yeah, it was clearly Zurdo, bro. I mean, Zurdo was making a miss, and Zurdo was really, I was impressed by his defense.
Ringside footage told the same story. Jake Paul dominated from start to finish. Chavez Jr. struggled to mount any offense and barely landed meaningful punches. Jake controlled the pace with sharp jabs, solid footwork, and superior conditioning. Observers were particularly struck by Jake's composure and ring presence. He didn't just win physically, he won mentally.
Jake Paul has defeated Chavez Jr. right? This fight, Chavez got active in them last 3 rounds and he really showed his power. But throughout most of the fight and throughout those first 5 or 6 rounds, right, most of us were saying, is Chavez here to fight or not? Because he was not throwing very much at all. And then you thought maybe the strategy is let Jake Paul get tired because he's not used to going 10 rounds, and then maybe in those last couple rounds you could get him. But Jake Paul did get fatigued down the stretch, but he still held on. He looked well even in the final 3 rounds when Chavez was pouring it on enough to get over the top. I'd say it's impressive considering Chavez Jr. is a former champion for Jake Paul. Probably going to get a title shot soon. My question to y'all is, what did y'all think of the fight? When Chavez first came out, man, I'm like, he's not throwing. Jake Paul looked really active. I go, when is Chavez going to throw? Then Chavez began to throw, and you thought maybe the strategy is let Jake Paul get tired and then try to beat him down the stretch, right? Which I think that was the strategy. But Paul proven to hang on, and Chavez goes down in this one. So guys, what do y'all think about the fight? What do you think about Jake Paul's performance, and can he get a title shot?
At the post-fight press conference, Jake remained composed and confident. He gave credit to Chavez Jr., acknowledging his toughness and the proud Mexican boxing tradition, but also addressed his critics. Actions speak louder than words, he said, emphasizing that his performance silenced doubts about his chin, toughness, and commitment. This win, Jake noted, wasn't just about proving people wrong, it was personal. For him, it marked a defining moment in his journey as a serious boxer.
It's between you and Cesar Chavez Jr. tonight. Now, in round 9, the heat really turned up. Did you feel the Mexican power that he promised, or do you feel like he didn't perform the way you thought that he would?
No, yeah, he brought a hard fight there at the end, and that's that Mexican warrior style. I don't know how he was eating all those punches, to be honest. My hands low-key hurt from his face, and so respect to him. He had good cardio, and he came on strong at the end. He's a very, very strong guy, had a lot of power, but people underestimate my chin and my ability, my toughness.
Jake, Jonathan Agger of Pro Boxing Fans. During the week, you had a viral interview with Piers Morgan where he said that he didn't think that you would beat Chavez. He felt like when you fight a former world champion, you'll come unstuck. What did you prove to not only him, but other people that have criticised you?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words, so people can sit behind their desks and sit on their TV shows and say a lot of things about my career, but everyone's tuning in, everyone's watching, and I just continue to win.
And you mentioned Anthony Joshua. Does it end there? Would you want to bring Tyson Fury out of retirement?
Man, there's too many people for me to fight. I need more time. At the end of the day, that's the only thing I can't do is create more time. So we'll see what happens.
Piers Morgan's previous skepticism came into sharper focus following the fight. He had doubted Jake's credibility, claiming Jake hadn't yet faced a legitimate, battle-tested pro. But Jake remained unfazed by critics and insisted performance would speak for itself, and it did. His dominant showing against Chavez Jr. highlighted not just physical readiness, but mental focus and strategic discipline. Jake proved he's in the ring not for clout, but to compete at a high level.
YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that. This shit is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people time in and time again. And it's about time that you old heads and all these fucking boxers who think they know about the sport put some respect on my name.
Yeah, but you're not going to get... Look, you're going to make a ton of money. Listen, I think as a businessman, you are brilliant, right? I give you full credit for that. When you took on Mike Tyson as a business enterprise, there's no argument. You absolutely crushed the numbers, crushed the money, and everything else. But the idea that you can say, on the one hand, I'm a killer, I get in the ring with the best people, and you get in the ring with a guy who's 50, he's literally nearly as old as me.
I'm not talking about Mike Tyson. I'm talking about Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley, champions in their sport, Golden Gloves champions, Ryan Borland, Andre August, undefeated fighters. The list goes
but what
on
great
and on.
boxer have you been in the ring with?
Former world champion on Saturday, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., son of the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, besides me, of course. Like, I don't know what you guys want to see. I tried to fight Canelo. He ducked out of it. You asked him about that. You said he's going to kill me. So what do you want? You're laughing when you say, oh, Jake is going to fight Canelo. I think you would kill him. But then you're like, oh, you're not fighting this guy. You're the problem here with this whole situation and criticism of my career. I'm trying to fight the best people, and that's why Chavez is here on Saturday. I want Canelo. I want Anthony Joshua. I want all these people. It's been 5 years in this sport.
But the problem is, the only proper boxer you fought was Tommy Fury, and he beat you. And he's not even the best. He's not even the best fighter in his family.
Golden Gloves champion Andre August, Ryan Borland as well. Anderson Silva was an undefeated boxer. I mean, you can sit there and make up shit, but you actually don't know your facts. I fought multiple boxers with professional records, and including Mike Tyson himself, who I think is going to be a harder fight than Chavez.
Former Olympian Tony Jeffries also offered praise, commending Jake's serious approach. He pointed to Jake's investment in elite trainers, nutrition, and a professional training camp environment. Jeffries stressed that Jake's success wasn't about money, it was about commitment. His disciplined preparation was evident in the result, showing he's treating boxing with the respect and seriousness it demands.
Now, one huge advantage of having money is he can hire the best team in the world. He can have the best things possible. Like, he's got a hyperbaric chamber in his home, but he's got the best kind of chamber. This is helping him with recovery. Normal fighters can't afford to do this. So because of this, he's got that advantage. Now, you might be thinking, well, him getting in a hyperbaric chamber for recovery is not going to help him be a better boxer. Well, my friend, let me tell you, it is. And the reason why it is, if you think you've done a hard boxing training session and you've got another one the next day because fighters train like once, twice, even 3 times a day, you're going to recover faster. If you recover faster, what happens? You perform better on the next session. So let's just say an average boxer is progressing like this because they're not recovering properly. Jake Paul is recovering and progressing like this. We've seen how fast he has progressed, whether you like him or not. He's come from 0 boxing experience to where he's at now. Now you might be saying, well, Tony, he's fighting old men. Oh, mate. Just look at who Floyd Mayweather fought on his 6th fight, and look at who Jake fought on his 6th fight, and just see here the comparisons right there. Now back to the money. Having that money, he's doing hyperbaric chambers. He's got the best sports scientists, the best trainers around. And if I was still fighting right now and I couldn't afford what Jake's got, what I would be doing is watching what he's doing. Now you might think that is absolutely crazy. Why would I want to watch Jake Paul? Well, because like I said, he's got the best equipment, he's got the best trainers, he's got the best team that money can buy. If you can take snippets of that for in your training, you know, he's doing something.
Jake's confidence was clear from the start. Before the fight, he confidently predicted victory, and then delivered exactly that. Sources from his camp revealed that Jake eliminated distractions and was fully focused on preparation. This wasn't just another fight, it was a calculated, all-in effort. Now, with a convincing win over a veteran like Chavez Jr., Jake's dream of building a boxing legacy is gaining traction.
It's not going to be me, but I'm training harder than ever. I know this is my toughest opponent yet. Maybe not the biggest name opponent yet, but it's still going to be a super, super good fight. So make sure everyone pull up Anaheim, California, Ticketmaster.com. Be there, baby.
I was going to say that, you know, do you think this is the toughest opponent? Obviously, he's still a guy who was, you know, he's not all that old. He's got a ton of fights. He's got, I think, 61 pro fights. Think this is the toughest challenge for you if you take everything into consideration?
Yeah, taking everything into consideration and how hard he's training behind the scenes, people saying that this is the most serious he's ever taken a fight, and the fact that he's a former world champion, 30-something knockouts, and I think he wants to put Mexico on his back and represent, and he doesn't want to lose to a guy like me because he knows that's going to hurt his legacy that he's built for himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jake, if you see video of him, it looks like he's training hard. I think if there's one criticism, obviously, as you know, of his that people have always said is that, hey, he doesn't train hard, doesn't work as hard as he should, but he's a guy with a lot of talent. But if he is working hard and he does still have that talent, obviously, that could make for a dangerous opponent, couldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I bring out of my opponents. You know, even when I fly sparring partners in, they go harder than they normally do with other guys because they want to prove a point because it's me. They don't want to get beat up by a guy who's only been doing this for 5 years or so. So they always bring their A game, and that's why I'm always at my best as well because I have to bring my A game every time.
Jake Paul's youth played a major role in his dominant performance. Entering the ring with speed, stamina, and hunger, Jake overwhelmed an aging Chavez Jr., whose conditioning and movement were clearly diminished. While experience was on Chavez's side, it wasn't enough to counter Jake's intensity. The age and physical disparity tipped the balance, and Jake took full advantage.
He's like, yeah, every fight's different. He's young, so he has a lot of energy. I think that, you know, Jake also has a lot of power. Chavez Jr. has never seen. Again, he's moving up, I don't know how many weight classes from middleweight. Probably never fought a guy that hits as hard as Jake does. Not to say that Jake's, you know, exorbitantly powerful or anything like that. He may be, but it's just he's a cruiserweight. Chavez Jr.'s fought, I think, once at cruiserweight, maybe twice now. Jake's youth is a massive factor for him. Chavez Jr. is 39. He's not, you know, 50 or whatever, but got a lot of boxing miles on him, has some, obviously, outside of the ring substance issues, been out of the ring and on and off for the last however long, has taken massive breaks, so all that's going to factor in.
Heading into the fight, many dismissed it as another Jake Paul publicity stunt. Critics expected Chavez Jr. to expose Jake. Instead, Jake flipped the narrative. He trained seriously, stayed disciplined, and soundly defeated a seasoned professional. This fight wasn't about celebrity, it was about credibility. And Jake earned it.
Breaking news, Jake Paul is going to be taking on former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a fight that I think is going to fool a lot of people. And what do I mean by fool a lot of people? What I mean is people are going to, on paper, look at this and be like, oh, Jake Paul gets schooled here, gets schooled here. Chavez Jr. is 39. He was not known as a very disciplined boxer during his prime. That's one of the reasons he had such a heavy decline. He's also a lot smaller than Jake Paul. What I will say about Jake Paul is he is a genius, or his team and management are geniuses at giving him opponents that people on paper look at and be like, oh, Jake Paul's not a real fighter, he won't be able to beat this guy. This is very, 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 very minimal risk for Jake Paul. The only factor that could come into play here is if Chavez Jr. decides he actually wants to show up properly for this fight, conditioned, and use his experience to win. But Jake Paul, for me and his team, have been very, very careful about who they matchmake him against ever since the Tommy Fury fight. You know, ever since here, we haven't seen him in there with someone his own age, his own weight, and his own sort of experience. For me, if Jake Paul wants to be a YouTube boxer still, and he wants to be considered an influencer boxer, matchmaking him against these guys that on paper, oh, this is a big challenge for Jake Paul, in reality not really, is okay. But I think if Jake Paul actually is what he says he wants to be, and he wants to make that step up, man, he's going to have to.
That's all for today's video.